Bonjour tout le monde. I hope you guys are all doing well. In this video, I'm actually going to be making an interview about political art. And what I'm going to be doing exactly is that I'm going to have specifically three people, and I'm going to be asking a few questions in regards of this topic, I would say. So before I even start, what is political art and what does it actually even mean? And what's its use? Political art is basically an art genre that engages with political themes, and it could like range to a lot of things. And when we talk about political themes, we're talking about like social cultural issues, and it could vary to, like, let's say sexism, feminism, poverty, and everything you can just name down the list. We could talk about those. And the main purpose for these artworks is to kind of like spread a type of awareness just from a visual type of message. It could also be from music, it could be from a poster too. Well, a good example could be the Black Lives Matter logo, which kind of serves to address systematic racism, police brutality, and racial injustice towards colored people. And another good example could be the We Can Do It poster from artist J. Howard Millard, which served to represent, I would say, women empowerment. But I'm not gonna dive too much into it. I'm gonna say that more for the questions later on for the guests I'm gonna have. Well, with that being said, most of these interviews are most likely gonna be on a Discord call or a Teams call, and I'll try my best to like maybe put some images for just for better reference, so you guys know which what questions I'm asking about which art, so you guys don't get confused. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope the class enjoys this interview, and yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you. One, okay. So, hi James, thanks for being in this interview. So, before we start, I want you to introduce yourself. Maybe like, explain what you do, what you like doing.
Okay. Well,
It could be
yeah.
anything.
Well, I'm James. I'm a artist, kind of full time. I'm a dancer. And yeah, I teach dance classes for different group ages, from ranging from 7 to like 30s. And yeah, I've been dancing since I was 13. And that's pretty much what I do for life. I teach, learn, and grow.
And that's pretty sick, bro. Like, obviously, like, since you're artist in yourself, I feel like these type of questions would be really interesting, like from your answers. So obviously, the topic of today, for this class more specifically, because they're going to be the one watching this, is we're going to be talking political art. And I want to know, my first question for you is, in your own definition or your own words, what do you think is political art?
Yeah, so in my eyes, political art would be any form of art relating to politics, either trying to represent it, push forward an agenda, or challenge the status quo through art. And it can take many forms. Like it could be like tapestries, paintings. It's done through dance, through music, rap, poetry. So yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's actually a really perfect answer. Like, even in my words, I think, yeah, like political art is like it kind of like engages into like political, like social culture, like like issues. For example, like racism, sexism. It can be a lot of things. Anything you can name down the list. So
Yeah, yeah, it's very deep. Yeah.
yeah, perfect. All right, so my second question is, what's like one example of political art you can name? Like you said, it could be music, it could be dancing, it could be even a poster.
Wait, run that back?
Like, what's like one example you can name, that comes to mind? Like, it could be a specific art, like a music video, a song, or an art. Like what's one you can name that can
Oof, one form of like political art, like a form of political art, like a piece or something that happened.
yeah, like a piece that happened. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you could go the one that well, there's been a lot of them. I mean, there's been like rap songs recently, but you could go find it probably on YouTube. There was a big protest, and there were these crumpers that went to this protest. I think it was for a march. It was to protest not allowing the police not allowing them to march for, I think, Israel and Palestine. Anyways, a bunch of crumpers went in front of the police barricade,
Mm-hmm.
and well, crump dance is more of a violent type of movement and uses like violent gestures to express what the artist is feeling, and they stood in front of the barricade and started kind of like attacking these guys with their movement. That would be a really good form of political art. If you could find the video, you'd really understand how.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. Um, since you need one example, and since you're a dancer yourself, I'm gonna just one that comes to mind for me is I'm not sure if you remember the track from Lil Baby. It's bigger than black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's actually one that kind of like like left a big impression on me. I would say like obviously ever since I started this class, when my teacher was like talking about political art, it kind of gave me the idea of that song, because it kind of like embraces it's kind of conveying the problems with racism.
Mhm.
I don't remember. My memory is pretty bad, but I assume it was George Floyd. The fact that he was dealt with like brute police for it and like injustice, and yeah, it was a very pretty tragic story. I won't lie.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like what you said something about like hip hop being like political art. How is that?
Um. Well, first off, it's important to note what hip hop is. Originally, hip hop was considered to be sort of like a bit of an umbrella term for four major influences of art that were in the Bronx and New York area back in like the 1970s, 80s ish. And anyways, basically, hip hop is graffiti, MCing, breaking, and MCing, breaking, and DJing, I
Mm,
believe, were the
okay.
first four forms. And well, like with graffiti, it was people like making graffitis on the subway trains to like leave their name and their impression across New York and kind of, I guess, give themselves more value than they felt they had because back in that time, Afro Americans and Latinos felt very attacked by the government or by society because they didn't have the same opportunities or basically they just weren't living equal to, let's say, um white Americans.
That's actually really interesting because I know, like, when I saw graffiti, I never thought about like rappers doing it per se or hip hop, but like the fact that there's actually like some like story, like some political story behind it, that's like very interesting. Like I didn't even think about that actually. Uh,
Yeah, it really started because it was really like mainly like it was attached to gang activity and stuff like that, and everybody saw it as gang activity back then. And that's
mm,
what's kind of been pushed till now today.
mm,
But it really started off with just kids that just wanted to leave a trace in this world because also kids back then were seeing their friends and their homies die young, right?
yeah,
So they just kind of wanted to leave an impact and say like we exist too.
mm,
So that's
yeah.
kind of where it really like mainly started.
Okay. And another thing I didn't record this part, but like you talked about like your dancing, right? You said that was like for you that's like a form of political art too, and like how is that actually?
Right. So um if we brought it back to like hip hop,
Yeah.
there's lots of different forms of movement now under the hip hop category. It's kind of hard to explain, but if I could summarize it, the dance style of hip hop is a form of political art because in itself it's used as a form of expression to kind of oh sorry about that my dog.
No
It's used
worries.
as a form of expression to be able to like allow people to liberate themselves, feel free, safe, and comfortable. And it was mainly because like I said, back in that time and area when it started, like minorities, they didn't have the same social acceptance as everybody else,
Mm,
so they needed to find forms and ways to be able to, I guess, make themselves feel at ease. But also there was other styles, example like I said, crump, which were more violent and very geared towards allowing people to like express anger and disdain for what was going on around them without actually hurting people or being truly violent, so they could express like their anger for, well, the world that they lived in at that time. without actually being violent. So using a form of art to express their disdain for the policies that were going on back then.
Damn. That's actually like very interesting. Oh damn! I wonder what else other questions I could ask you. I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring to you too. Is the socioeconomic side of it. Like these people that created these art forms, like especially in hip hop, like it goes into like you could go into contemporary art. That's why I was trying to find that painting of Marie Antoinette being beheaded for you because it was a big moment where everybody was like it's a very gruesome painting, but it was kind of like a big hurrah for everybody that was expressed through that painting back then. But in a more modern world with hip hop, people that created this style would now create communities in different areas that they would live in and create events and use those events to gain funds to put back into the community. So the same way that you'll see, like example, Nipsey, who bought a whole strip with the money that he made from rap to be able to give back to the community and create a safe place on the block.
yeah.
Dancers would do the same things where they would have like a lot of times back in the days too, they would make their events inside of churches. They would use church basements.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Okay.
so they would have like little kind of house parties or jams and get an MC, get a DJ, get some breakers and some of the newer styles that were coming up and have everybody go there, pay to get in, mainly for the kids as well. And they wouldn't like serve alcohol back then. Like you would have kind of like these bars and places that would be open till like 1 or 2 a.m. and kids could go to and it would only serve juice, but they could dance and be in a safe place, not on the street, inside of like a little area that's like closed and everybody can be safe and they would take those funds and put it back into the community. So on a socioeconomic level too, the hip hop, I guess, art
Mm.
was present as well. It wasn't just like a form of retaliation. They also used funds that they acquired to put it back into the community, like helping fund the church so that they could have a better church so people could go to church and have somewhere where they could like pray and not necessarily be so attached to like gang related violence ideologies and things like that.
Mm. That's sick, bro. You're like, I'm actually like really surprised, like the amount of knowledge you have, like in political art. It's like even like you name a lot more things that comes into mind than me. Like, and I'm like literally just I'm having a class on it, and
Mm.
I don't know if you remember this artwork. It's actually a poster from World War II. It was I forgot which one was it? Was it World War II? I think it was made by I forgot what his name was, but you know the poster with the woman that says like, "We can do
Oh
it."
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that one like is one that really comes into mind for me as well. I don't know.
Mm.
I think it was towards I don't know if it was feminism or something, but it was towards women empowerment of like
Yes,
yeah, I found that very interesting as well.
it's a very interesting topic because it truly it was a bit of a feminism, but it was employed by the government, and it wasn't truly. So that poster is a really it's a very good one to talk about because it was kind of a bit of a pivotal point in Western society
Mm,
because um, it enforced the ideology of feminism and the whole concept by saying women are capable and as well equipped as men, which is true and was true since the dawn of time. But really what they wanted to do was it was a marketing scheme to be able to like get men to go to war and be able to have women work so that the economy wasn't failing so that they could keep up a war.
mm,
And it wasn't necessarily truly about it wasn't really about the feminism aspect. I wouldn't know how you would have to dive into that, but it was really mainly about the government wanting to not lose too much money and be able to keep their workers and have, I guess, men go to war.
yeah, that's actually interesting too. Ugh,
Yeah.
yo, you answered like my questions like so perfectly. It's crazy. Lord, so you study like a bit like in political art actually, or because you're
Um,
very like knowledgeable in this topic. Like it's very surprising actually. But I mean, makes sense. Like you said I don't know what you did in you said you
college, yeah, college.
college, right? It was like what program that you took?
I just did the dance program at Saint Laurent,
Oh
and it wasn't necessarily geared to political
no,
arts.
I know, but it's because any art program that you take, you have it's hors lettres communication, right? and anything like instead of like in psychology, you get more like about like art history, art contemporain, like and I feel
Yeah.
like one of those main thing is like political art, which is like actually a really big thing that now that we think about it, because every like I feel like every form of art in general always has some sort of like political context to it, so
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
the most influential type of art. That's why too.
mm,
It's what catches everybody's eye.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think that's like I feel like that's much about it. I don't even know if I have to interview any other people, because my teacher said like it has to be like it could just be 5 minutes, and you already it's like answered so much, so it's like it's perfect almost. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's nice, bro. I'm glad I could help.
I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for like being an interview, man. I hope you're doing well, and thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, easy.
Perfect. Cut.